Okay, Friday, March 11th. I think this is the 2 week point. Now we're going on 2 weeks of this. So we had an air raid siren last night after many days of calm, and I haven't been on last few days because there just wasn't much to report on. But last night we had the air raid siren, and then this morning in the news, it turned out that Lutsk to the north of us was hit, aircraft engine factory. And then Ivano-Frankivsk to the south of us looked like it was hit twice. I'm trying to get details from someone I know down there and looking in the Telegram groups. So I'm in the Telegram group OSINT Ukraine. It means OSINT, or Open Source Intelligence Ukraine. And I'm also in the Ukrainian Freedom News Telegram group. And there you can get a lot of snippets that you're not seeing in the mainstream media. The mainstream media doesn't, I guess, have the resources to magnify into specific regions or pick up every specific detail. So you have to kind of go through these groups. But again, there can be a lot of false information or unconfirmed information, so you got to take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, so yesterday, I'll just tell you what I did, and then I'll make some commentary about the news. So yesterday I went downtown. Went to the city center of Lviv. It was busier than it was before. It looked like there's some things reopening. The street markets and everything are reopening, and more of the coffee shops are reopening. Managed to get some croissants. You're not really supposed to be eating sugar, but these are some different times, and nothing beats a chocolate croissant. Supermarket lottery. Apparently, we're still getting a lot of fresh fruit in the supermarket. It's been good. It's been even, I'd hate to say it, but the oranges have been better now than before the war started. I mean, they're hella expensive. Prices have noticeably shot up. I mean, you can definitely see like a 3x on the prices, even in the informal markets, or the ones full of grannies. They just put up tables on the side of the road and start selling. Everything is done in cash. So we have a lot of these markets all around us in Ukraine. Private enterprise, small business. So yeah, more of them are reopening. The barber shop, over here in this building across the way, they reopened. And the gym is opening now from 12 to 7, so we've been going to the gym in the afternoon instead of the morning. I usually like to get the morning workout, and then you don't have to think about it the whole rest of the day, and then you're justified eating what you want because you've already got your workout done. But we have to change the routine. Obviously, it's wartime, so a lot of things have to change. So yeah, just getting a new routine going, a new normal, if that's what you want to call it. But it looks like things are starting to reopen a little bit. People, I guess, have to start earning money again. You can't stay hunkered down forever. Life even has to go on in times like this, apparently. So I think that's what's going on. I even heard a little bit of renovation work being done in the building. There is a lot of hammering and jackhammering and saws and all this you can hear throughout the day because people are renovating their apartments. So those noises are starting back up a little bit. I wouldn't say this is hopeful. I mean, this war is... it's really a lot of mixed signals where it's going. I mean, we have, I think, 3 major cities. Kharkiv is surrounded. Kherson has already been taken over. This Mariupol, you've seen in the news, all the atrocities, is fully surrounded. And I think Kyiv, they're trying to take the western side. The Russians have made some progress on the outskirts of Kyiv, and apparently this Wagner group, the Russian Blackwater, is in theater on the west side of Kyiv. So it's like a lot of mixed news, but then we see, whole tank platoons being abandoned by the Russians without even firing a shot. There was some interesting video of a drone attack on a Russian column heading towards Kyiv. So that's urban warfare, though. It is a lot of back and forth. And for Russia, they can't hold anything. They can make an advance, but they don't have any friends or any allies on the ground to help them hold what they got, or give them information. So that's got to wear down wear them down a bit. That they're always on a constant state of alert. They don't get to relax, and the closer they get in the city, and all the civilians around them are hostile. Definitely after the shelling, after shelling civilian things, it didn't weaken the will. It just made people more angry, and they didn't consider that. They thought by bombing buildings they can bomb people into submission. The flow of Western weapons. If you look in the open media on CNN, BBC, I think it's a tidal wave. This is going to become like in Afghanistan and Europe. It's a weapons bonanza. It's going to be like this movie Lord of War. Just like after the Soviet Union fell. When this war is over, there's going to be piles and piles and piles of weapons. I mean, I think my understanding is now there's 20,000 javelins in Ukraine. That's enough to take out all the Russian armor. I think like 2 times over. I mean, not the light armor, but the heavy armor, like the tanks and the APVs. The Jeeps and these light vehicles, they can actually even be taken out with Molotov cocktails or, RPGs, even with a rifle, with armor-piercing rounds. So I think they're weaponed up. I mean, although there's shortages of rifles, they had many thousands of Ukrainians returning and wanting to join the army who had no previous experience, so they need uniforms and they need weapons issued to them. The foreign soldiers coming, I believe, bring all their own gear, including the weapons. I believe they come with all their own stuff, so they are required to pretty much come equipped. Although I don't know if they fight as separate units or they're intermixed into the Ukrainian military. I believe it's kind of a both. They're put where they're needed. It's really up to the commanders, Ukrainian commanders. They assign these guys where to go. And I read somewhere they don't get to keep their phones. So their phones are taken away, obviously, because they don't want to give away their position. And they're in the army. And then after 3 years of service, they get citizenship, Ukrainian citizenship. So this is a great opportunity for people from Asia and Africa to get one step closer to Europe. So we're seeing all kinds of people coming in now. So this momentum is building on one side, but then we have the Russian momentum too. There's a lot of movement behind the lines in Belarus, with the professional units in Crimea, and they're probably doing some resupplying and changing their tactics. Apparently a lot of Russian generals were fired and they promoted some colonels to generals or something. I saw this in one of those feeds. So the Battle of Kyiv is coming soon. I think there's skirmishes now. And, the Russians are advancing and they're going to really try for a second go at Kyiv. So we're going to be in this quagmire, what the analysts say, at least for weeks, if not months. But it is scary. The Russians are already also setting up a false flag for chemical weapons. And apparently one of the biolabs that they're accusing the West of having in Ukraine actually exists. The WHO said to shut it down. So I don't know how much the Russians are going to exploit that news, but I would hope that the Americans had done something about that. Otherwise, the Russians will exploit that. But the whole specter of chemical weapons now is very scary. But I think that would escalate the war internationally. I hope that Western countries do not stand for the use of chemical weapons. I don't care if it's the Russians and don't care if it has nukes. It's just the same as nukes. So yeah, that's got us on edge here, is the chemical weapon factor. The Russians, I don't think, want to concede defeat. And that's what's scary, I don't know what kind of off-ramp the negotiators are giving them, but they definitely need, I hate to say it, they definitely need to concede or compromise something. They got to give them some kind of off-ramp, some way to save face or some way to look good, because they're holding that loaded gun. And then maybe after that, it's never over. It's never over. Then once there's some ceasefire or something, then maybe Ukraine can re-gear its whole defense and military so that this never happens again. I don't know. I really don't think things will go back to pre-19 or pre-2014. I don't think that's going to happen. But I don't think Ukraine will completely surrender either. This just might be some mess, but Russia doesn't have the resources to finance a quagmire either. It's just, yeah, I think a lot of people are having like these mixed thoughts like I am. I mean, on some sides, things are going well for Ukraine. On other sides, there's just this undeniable Russian momentum, pushing towards Kyiv, and also Odessa is in danger. There's ships and stuff off the shores, and so there's some showdown coming, for the south and the east. But it definitely isn't going to be over like a checkmate in chess. It's just going to be a mess. It's just going to be a messy, and we don't know how it's going to ultimately end, because I don't really see the Russians like conceding defeat. They're going to have to be given a way out. They're going to have to be given some way out that is graceful, unfortunately. So, yeah, that's all I have for today. Life goes on. Take care.